It's time for Standing Out, everybody. Let's go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. I'm Trey Griggs of Beta Consulting Group, and it is National Family Day, everybody. So we're going to be celebrating that today. Showed you some pictures of my family there on the way across. We're going to talk about that. It's going to be awesome. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend out there. We're able to get some things done around the house, spend some time with friends, go to church, whatever it is that you do on the weekends, and that you are getting after it. By the way, if you have trouble getting after it on Monday mornings, you can always join us at 6 a.m. Central for an episode of Iron Minds. It is always 6 a.m. Central with my friend Hayden Allred. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And next week, everybody, October 3rd, you want to make sure you put this on your calendar because our good friend Samantha Jones from Rocket Shipping is going to be our guest host at Iron Minds. And she's going to be doing a HIIT workout. So don't miss leg days this week. Make sure you're ready to go. Get those lungs breathing. But it's going to be awesome. And also, we're about a month away from the Iron Minds Tough Mudder Charity Challenge, October 29th in Dallas, Texas. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can go to the events page on our website, betaconsultinggroup.com. And if you're ready to sign up and be a part of that with our team, just go to toughmudder.com/events/Dallas, or just search for the Dallas Tough Mudder and you can sign up for us. We're doing the 8 a.m. first mud, everybody, 9 miles, 30 obstacles, 9 miles, 30 obstacles. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait for that. Got in three miles this morning on my run before Iron Minds. So we're getting ready. We're doing the training for that. It's going to be awesome. The best part of it all is we're going to be raising money for charity. So it's going to be a very, very exciting time. I'll make sure you throw in events in there in between the .com and Dallas. I realized that this morning. You got to have the events in there. Also, want to give a shout out to our sponsor, TAPS, the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping keep those owner operators and truck drivers keeping those wheels turning with cash flow resources, discounts on fuels, tires. Check them out at taps.com or click on the link that Ruth is going to put into the comments today. That takes you right to my landing page so they know that I sent you and I get some credit for it. So make sure that you do that and get started with them today, especially if you are behind the wheel of a truck. And if you are behind the wheel of a truck, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you're doing. It is Truck Driver Appreciation Month. Last week was official Truck Driver Appreciation Week, I guess. Two different things, but we're celebrating every day here at Standing Out because we appreciate what truck drivers do to keep our shelves stocked and make sure that we have all the things that we need for this convenient life that you've given us. You guys are the heroes of the supply chain, and we appreciate it tremendously. So everyone else out there, if you see a truck driver today at your gas station, at a department store, at a grocery store, make sure you go up and say thank you for what they're doing. Those guys are the heroes in terms of keeping things running. Speaking of which, we got a truck driver on the show today. Can't wait to bring her on in just a minute. We got a great week of shows all week this week, so make sure you come back every day at 10:30 a.m. Central for an episode of Standing Out. And can't wait to bring her on. She's a former ER person that moved into trucking. I can't wait to tell her story here in just a little bit. But again, make sure you come back every day at 10:30. So I met today's guest about 2 months ago, maybe something like that, and got to hear her story. I think I saw her post on LinkedIn. That might have been it. So listen, social media and marketing, it matters, people. Make sure you're doing it. I saw her post. I said, I've got to get this woman on the show. I got to know more about her first. And then after I talked to her, I was like, yeah, we got to book her on the show. So she got a great story today. Can't wait to walk her through the story and for you guys to hear how she went from the ER to trucking. Everybody give it up for my good friend, Melanie Patterson. Melanie, welcome.
Hello, Trey. Thank you so much for having me on, you guys.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. So excited to have you here today. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. We had a conversation, I think it was a month ago. We had a conversation.
About a month ago. Yeah.
We shared our stories. You shared, how you got into trucking, which is a fascinating story. And I was like, we got to talk about this. Talk about standing out. And your post that you made to kind of share that story to me really stood out because you're standing near a hospital and you're like, not too many people go from here to the cab of a truck. And I thought that was a really powerful message. What's up, Diamond? Hope the Diamond is doing well today. Thanks for joining the show today. Great to have you as a part of the show. So really I want you to take about 30 seconds, Melanie, if you would, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about what you got cooking, what's going on.
Absolutely. Melanie Patterson, founder, CEO of Integrity Transit Co., Integrity Global Logistics, and Team Integrity Knowledge Center. But I wasn't always an entrepreneur, right? As you just alluded to, I had a 9 to 5. I worked a 9 to 5 for almost 10 years in ER trauma. So I played that
Hold on.
different
Is
game.
ER 9 to 5? It's more like 7 to 7, I think. It's like
Thank you.
12-hour shifts. Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thanks for the correction. So it was definitely 12-hour shifts, holidays included. And I dedicated myself to that for quite some time. And now here we are transitioning into freight logistics and transportation.
That is such an underwhelming story. ER to truck. We got to hear the details. We need to hear the details. You can't just say that and leave it like that. And by the way, thank you, Lisa, for joining. Chitoro, thanks so much for being a part of the show today. Tell us where you guys are coming from, by the way. Appreciate that. All right, so we got to dig into this, Melanie, because when you were telling me this story, I was just absolutely kind of floored by your experience and what you did. First of all, let's talk about how'd you get into the ER. Let's go back a little ways. What attracted you to being in the ER to begin with?
Awesome question. So let's go back a little bit. So my first major was business management and administration. I wanted to be a businesswoman. That's who I was, and that's the
So
path I
it's been in
went.
you a lot longer. The entrepreneurship's been in you. Maybe you didn't know, but it was there.
It has, and I'll tell you a little bit more in detail. And so, moving forward, I was presented with the opportunity to do a shadowing experience at Cedar Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, California. I jumped at the opportunity. It was for NICU, so a baby ICU experience. And
Yeah.
Trey, I fell in love with it. I said, I need to know a little bit more about this and what this looks like. And I started out as a CNA, a certified nurse assistant, which is just what it sounds, an assistant to a nurse. And I did that for a few years. And I said, there has to be more here. Went to school, obtained my bachelor's degree in science, as we discussed on our previous
Mhm.
call. And I jumped into nursing and I found my niche. ER trauma. Always worked in indigenous communities, underserved communities. As you know, just came across array of different disease processes and individuals, and I fell in love with it. Fell in love with it. Went on to get on my master's degree, and so I don't know if you're familiar with an advanced nurse practitioner.
I've
And
heard of it. Yeah.
you
I
might
think
have
they can do prescriptions. Can a nurse
yes.
practitioner do prescriptions? Is that right? There you
Yes.
go.
So we can practice in collaboration with physicians and along those lines and write prescriptions and diagnose and
Mhm.
see patients. And did that for several years and was dealing with burnout.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's a tough job. I mean, that's talk about heroes. I mean, that's an incredibly tough job to be in that. But I can tell that two things about you from this conversation and others. You always want to be where the action is, number one.
Yes,
and
I do.
number two, you're rarely satisfied with where you are. There's something more. Like let's see what else is out there and strive for something more. And I love that. My oldest daughter actually, when she was born, she had to be in the NICU for 3 days. It was like our first child. So that just a traumatic experience because you don't know what to expect. You can't hold your baby. And the nurses were so amazing. I mean, just unbelievably amazing that worked with us on that. And so I'm so appreciative of healthcare professionals, especially those that are in ER and
Yeah.
situations like that. So absolutely tremendous. So you're doing that. You're dealing with a little bit of burnout, and now you're thinking, well, maybe I want to do something else. Where do those conversations go with the people around you and in your head? What did that
Mm.
look like?
Let's dive right into it. So let's have a transparent moment. I still had the entrepreneurship within me. And so my husband and I, we still had real estate. So we had Pro Realty Management, a real estate investment company, and then also a grooming salon. And so I would leave the ER and I would go to the grooming salon and, check inventory and things of that, sweep the floors, clean the bathrooms. And I said, wait a minute. I'm leaving my 9 to 5, my corporate job, my career to go to work at my other business. I'm at work dealing with burnout, right? So we're seeing anything from gunshot burns to your common
Mhm.
cold. And I'm working on holidays. I'm Christmas mornings. At that time, I had just given birth to my daughter, and I was like, "Wait a minute! I'm trying to juggle both." And there has
Yeah.
to be something, there has to be something more. Also, trade, I forgot to mention, right? So I got my bachelor's degree, and within medicine, I don't know if you're familiar, it's all about continuing education and those acronyms behind your name, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
alluded, I'm competitive by nature. I'm competitive by nature. And so I went on to get my master's degree, and I got my master's degree thinking, starting out, you're going to make that 130, $130,000 a year. And they were like, no, where the field is saturated. You're looking at more about 90,000 a year. And I was devastated. And so as I was working in my own business one evening, I said, I didn't even get a lunch break, let alone a bathroom break.
Hmm.
I'm going to, with higher education and invest in myself to not get the reward that I'm looking for. So I said,
Hmm.
what would it look like to jump into entrepreneurship full time then? And I started to have the conversation with myself as well as some peers. They knew that we were serial entrepreneurs, and they said, look into transportation. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, absolutely not.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do such a thing? And fast forwarding again, it presented itself. An opportunity came about. And I said, let's kind of look at this. And that is the beginning and the inception of this integrity empire.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fascinating to think about that, when you have some of those challenges, those moments where you're trying to juggle everything, and I remember when I was a teacher feeling the same way, like there's got to be more than this. Like I have my master's degree, I'm taking all this extra continuing education for what? For $50,000 a year? That's what it was, or it's kind of what it is now with where I would have been. So just having that dissatisfaction and wondering what else is out there, and you had that side hustle. So I mean, you're absolutely right. That entrepreneurship was there the whole time, having that side hustle. And then what was it like when you made that decision? So you went from a pretty stable, steady career. Obviously, it was difficult, and we'll talk about maybe the burnout and some reasons for that in a minute. But you went from a stable career to then jumping into entrepreneurship, which every entrepreneur knows. I mean, it's sink or swim. I mean, there's no safety net. I mean, you either make it or you don't. And what was that like? Did it feel comfortable? Was it scary? What were some of the emotions that you were dealing with when you made that jump?
Um, so it had been on my mind for some time, but I let's be honest, I was comfortable with the benefits. Once again, no
Mm,
disrespect, but I had a career, not a job. So I was doing fairly well for myself as a young woman, and it was scary. It was scary, but I had to really ask myself, what's your why? Because
yeah.
remember, I just
Yeah.
had children, so I was dealing with those emotions. And I honestly, for me, I took a look at the numbers. I took a look at what my options were. And once again, here goes Melanie. She jumped. And with no safety blanket. And so I had to sink or swim, and I had to figure it
Yeah.
out along the way. I will say this, definitely have a business plan. That was something that I onboarded early on in the process. I was researching for a business plan specific to transportation and logistics, didn't find one. So guess what I did? I made my own. And now I'm offering that to my mentees. And I pen to paper, right? And I said, what
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
this really look like? And after weighing the pros and cons, I jumped. I jumped.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy. And I'm still dealing with challenges.
Yeah, no, it's never easy, but something that you had said there that I think is really important for people to understand is that knowing your why is important, but also knowing that your why can change over time is important as well. Because when you don't have kids, your why might have been just to climb that corporate ladder within
Yes.
nursing and do as much
Yes.
as you can. Hours didn't matter because clearly you had you didn't have kids to necessarily think about, so it was easier to manage. And then when you have that little one, sometimes it changes what's important to you. And I think that's not only true for people individually, but I think it's good for companies to be aware of that with their teams as well.
Mm.
Because if you have someone on your team that decides to either have a baby or decides to pick up a new hobby or gets married or some life event happens, their why might change, their motivation might change, what they want in life might change. And it's important as a business person to be in tune with your team and to know what they want. How do you tackle that with your team now? You're not a solopreneur. You do have a team with you, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about that transition from as a nurse where you're really just taking care of yourself to now running a business, you're taking care of other people. Talk about that transition a little bit as well.
Oh boy, still in it as I'm building, right? And brick by brick, just to be honest and transparent. I think the
Mm.
first, I was a solopreneur. Let's be honest. I was the
We all are
one,
when we start.
yeah, I was the one walking around with 8, 9 hats. I was
Yeah,
HR, I
yeah,
was payroll, I was, compliance. I was all of those departments, and I'm glad that I was. But I knew
yeah.
that I couldn't get to where I wanted to go as a solopreneur. And I sought mentorship. I sought individuals who were where aspired to be. And I did the work. I started to lay down the foundation, started to document the processes and the systems within the back office, and just onboarding one personnel, one department at a time. And I just keep open communication, and we continue. So I say this all the time. I've left nursing far as my career. I've left the bedside, but you better believe I've brought it with me. And so
Yeah.
within my company, within nursing, we have something called a care plan, where we assess the patient, we assess their presenting diagnosis, we developed a care plan, right, form of treatment, and then we have them come back and we reassess. I do the same thing in my transportation company as well. And so we're just building the team little by little, and hopefully we'll get to our goal.
Yeah, I think sometimes people wonder, like when they have a career like that, well, how can I just leave all of this that I've done, that I've invested in, not realizing sometimes that all those skills and those experiences translate and transfer over in one way or another. I'm a school teacher and a youth pastor. That was my career before I got into transportation and logistics, and I still think about that a lot of time. I think of this as my ministry. I think of leading our team as as me teaching and coaching and encouraging, just like I did when I was teaching and coaching in schools. A lot of it translates over. And I think the thing that scares a lot of people is that unknown. Like, okay, I know this. Maybe I'm not satisfied with this, but I know this. And there's a fear of maybe leaving that behind or jumping to do that. Clearly, you don't necessarily have as much fear in that regard, but you probably had a little bit, I would imagine, in terms of making that jump. How was it
Sure.
overcoming the fears, the mental challenges that go along with that?
Whew, Trey, I wasn't expecting that. Um,
We're
so
following a few rabbit trails today. We're just following a few rabbit trails
that
because your
was
story's
one.
phenomenal. I want to dig in. So,
That's definitely one. Uh, let's put it all on the table. COVID-19 was very challenging for all of us. If I did not onboard the government with Integrity Transit, I'm sure I would have dealt with even greater challenges. But as you can see, small business owners, small fleet owners are suffering right now from pre-COVID, COVID era. And so it's really just really looking at the bigger picture overall, understanding this is a marathon and not a race. That's another one for me. And once again, mentorship, making sure that my circle and my foundation is strong. Pushing through. I'm resilient. I come from a single mother background. I'm a girl from Chicago,
mhm.
graduated from an alternative high school, to be quite honest with you. And so I continue to strive with resilience.
Yeah, it kind of went through the school of hard knocks, and figuring things
Absolutely.
out, and it's tough. And your husband is he also an entrepreneur as well?
He
You guys
is.
do real estate together? Is that right?
He is an entrepreneur. And so part of our business plan with the trucking side of things, it was part of the plan for him to go and get his CDL license and learn the mechanics and the truck driving side of the business. And
Yeah.
I'm more of the corporate side, the back office and the structuring of the business. And so that's how we operate.
I don't think too many people understand how important spouses and partners are when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and the support that you need to have and the encouragement that you need to have. I mean, it's hard to do just regardless, but if you don't have the support of your partner, it's really, really difficult. How important was that for you guys to make sure you're on the same page and making this jump?
It was pivotal. It was pivotal, and I knew that from the very beginning. And so that's why I said, "Hey, look, let's clearly define these roles before we proceed." We've had experience in the past with some of our other companies where those roles were kind of intertwining, which kind of did not really help. And so I knew what we were going into. As you know, freight logistics is a $1 billion industry, and this is a different kind of industry from our past. And so we just kind of clearly defined those roles.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we stay in those lanes.
Yeah, it's challenging, but good communication, making sure that you're on the same page, it really helps. I know my wife is risk averse. She's not an entrepreneur. She's not ambitious. It's not just not who she is at all. It took her
Yeah.
a while to come around to the idea, but when she did, she's been fully supportive and on board, and that's made all the difference in the world. I don't think that beta consulting exists without my wife saying, you need to go do that, because it just wouldn't have happened. And I think, having the support of your spouse, your partner is so critical for these types of ventures, because it's hard. Like there's some days where it's just really hard. You need somebody in your corner to cheer you on. You need somebody to encourage you, to hold you accountable, and be supportive of what you're doing. And sounds like you guys have put that together with his stuff and with your stuff as well.
Well, we're still figuring it out.
Well, that's the truth. We're all still figuring it out. Anybody who says they've got it figured out is lying, I'm pretty sure. We're all still figuring all these things out. Now, you had a daughter. Do you have any other children, or just one?
Yeah. Right. It's family week, right?
It is family week. We're going to talk
So
about it.
I have a daughter, Azelle. She's 5, going
Oh,
on
that's a
6.
beautiful name.
And
Nice.
then, it means noble one. And she is living up to her name. And then I have a little rascal son. He's 3. And that's it. That's all.
Yeah, good for you. Stopping at 2, playing man to man. That's we did
That's
the
it.
same thing.
That's it.
We
That's all.
stopped at 2. We're playing man to man as well. Do you have any pictures on your desk? Do you have any frames nearby?
I do.
Oh,
They're
we need to see
old.
these.
Yes.
Listen up, everybody. It's National Family Day, so we're celebrating families here on Standing
So
Up. Look at that. Oh,
this is Azelle.
so cute.
That is Azelle. And then let me get
You
my
got
little.
the big pictures. You got the 8x10s. I need to up my game.
Yeah.
Look at
And
that.
then that's TJ.
Oh,
At
that is
6
so
months.
cute.
So of course they don't look this innocent any longer.
They probably don't act that innocent either.
No,
If they're
they
like my
don't.
kids.
No, they
But
don't.
no, that's awesome. And there's something about being a parent that changes the game as well. I mean, to me, it's been one of my most favorite jobs that I have, or roles that I play in my life. I've enjoyed every moment of it, but it's not for the faint of heart. Those early years, especially where you're at right now, you're just now getting out of diapers. You're just now, they're still very dependent upon you. My favorite morning was the first Saturday morning that my daughter could pour her own bowl of cereal. I was like, I could sleep in.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't have to wake up and do that. My wife and I used to take turns on Saturday mornings of who was going to do that. So what do you guys like to do as a family? How do you celebrate? What do you guys, what's your thing?
So I'm big on exposure. And so just trying new things. So really tapping into our local areas, festivals.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue. Not a flea market, but one of those type of
like a farmer's market.
Farmers market. There you go. I
Yeah.
love farmers market. Thank you. Pull out the wagon and let's go, you guys. Traveling is a big one for us. And then sometimes just chillaxing at home, right? And enjoying each other. Phones down, tablets off, laptops closed. Let's dialogue.
We don't value that in society as much anymore. Just turning things off and spending time together. Speaking of which, Chicago, by the way, Diana Guzman, thanks for watching the show. She's from Chicago. She's actually in Indiana right now, but it's close enough, really close to South Side Chicago over there. But yeah, sometimes we don't value that. We've actually changed some things in our family as well, where we put the phones away and we try to spend time just, talking and hanging out, doing something fun, being adventurous around town. We had our town festival Saturday, so we got to go and do that together as a family, which was great. And I think I actually have some pictures of my family. Do you mind if I put them up? Is that okay?
Sure. Absolutely.
Here's some pictures from my family. I think that we have an overlay. Let me see if I can throw that up there real quick. And there it is right there. So there's some pictures from my family recently.
Oh, wow.
So my daughter Naomi in there in the middle with the glasses, my daughter Hannah in the back seat, and around my wife Tammy, a couple of date night pictures there. So
beautiful.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun together. We're an RV family and a homeschool family. We were. Now they go to private school. My wife's working there now, but we used to be a homeschool family. So we were together all the time. And some people are like, I can't do it, but we loved it. We enjoyed it. So it's National Family Day. Are you going to do anything fun tonight for Family Day? It's the 4th Monday of September every year. What are you going to do?
Didn't have plans on it, but maybe that might change.
It might have to change. I'm about to go do some adventure stuff around Chicago. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but it is Family Day, everybody. So whatever you're doing, make sure you celebrate your family today. Call your mom and dad if you got them. Tell them, that you love them, and make sure you take advantage of that. Okay, Melanie.
Yeah.
We've got a segment we got to do. So we've got a new segment on the show called the Random Question of the Day. And it's so random, Melanie, that I don't even know what it is. Like, I haven't seen it. It could be a good question. It could be a bad question. It might be funny. It might be serious. I have no idea. We let our producer pick this out every day. So let's go ahead and put the random question of the day up on the screen. And it is, what would you do if you became invisible for a day? That's That's an interesting question. What would you do if you became invisible for a day?
Wow, that is a really random question, but a great random
Hmm.
question.
I know what I would do. If you need more time, I can go, but I know what I'm
Go
going to do.
ahead. Go
All right.
ahead.
So I'm a people watcher. All right. I like to watch people. But what's even would make that more fun is if I could watch them up close, like if I could close up to hear them talk, like eavesdrop on them, because I just love hearing stories. If there's a way to do that without being criminally at fault, I would enjoy that. I always like hearing about conversations, thinking I wish I could be a fly on a wall type of thing. Like I like that idea. So I may have to eavesdrop closer to people. That sounds terrible, but I think that's what I might do.
No, it doesn't. That was mine, actually. I would
Oh,
love
really?
to be
Okay.
like a fly on the room, a fly on the wall in some of these boardroom meetings, because that's where I'm at right now. So I'm
Mm,
really, so in my journey and in the space that I'm at right now, Trey, is
yeah.
government contracting
Yeah.
and entrepreneurship and what that looks like for some of these Fortune 400, Fortune 500 companies. So just to be a fly on the wall in some of these
Yeah.
boardroom meetings.
Well, so yours is more productive than mine. I was just going to go to a park and just listen to people talk.
Oh,
You're going to
okay.
actually try to learn something and get something great out of it. I think I'm going to go with you. We should do that. We should go into the boardroom and listen to some of those conversations because they're fascinating. And
Yeah,
someday I want to be in those rooms, like those rooms you want to be in. So it's nice to get in those rooms and see what they're like and be a
yeah.
part of that, part of the growth. All right, well, that's a great question. Nice job, Ruth. Appreciate that. Our director of podcasting threw that up there. So we appreciate her doing that. All right. So we're almost out of time here. It goes so fast every week, but I want to, and Jeff says you must value your own time as an individual. Yeah, it's true, Jeff. Very true. Thanks for watching the show, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Want to ask you about this. So
Yeah.
you went to a niche. They always say that the riches are in the
Let's talk
niches.
about that. Yeah.
All right. You chose a niche, which was government contracting. How'd you get into that? And why was that kind of an attractive way to go? How has that worked out for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I know we only have a few more minutes and I can talk about this forever because this has been a game changer for me. So I'm going to just kind of squeeze it in there in this very short period of time. So we said, okay, cool. We're going to go into transportation. And of course, I'm the research person and I'm building this empire. And I said, what will set us apart, right? From all the other transportation companies that are out there? And what can I leverage? Long story short, I came across grants, which led me to government contracting. And so I said, let's restructure the company. Let's make me 51% shareholder. And we leverage our social economic status, minority woman owned. And
Hmm.
so Integrity Transit Co. is a certified minority woman owned transportation company, and the government is one of our top customers. This has been pivotal to our success. Unfortunately, because we dealt with so much fatality during COVID-19, but that was our best year in business. And
Yeah.
I knew
Wow.
I was onto something. 4 months after certifying the company, we won our first 3-year, six-figure contract. Now,
Wow.
let's
Good for
talk
you.
about the last contract we were just awarded on a state level, $2.5 million for a 2-year term. You're not going to find that on the load board.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you've got your niche. What I love about it is that you've researched it, you've figured out what's going to work for you. And some people might say, I don't want to work with the government. I don't have an interest to do that, and that's fine. So it's like it's great that you found your niche and that you've really pushed into that and really found a way to stand out, to be different in what you're doing. And again, I just love the intentionality that you've put into it. I think that's so critical. I just don't think that people are as intentional about how they're going to go about their business, about how they're going to market, about how they're going to tell their stories, all those kinds of things. I think the word intentional is probably the missing word from a lot of businesses and a lot of lives, that people aren't intentional about the things that they're doing. I
Yeah.
love the fact that you are. Kudos to you on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Trey. Thank you.
It's been awesome. Well, listen, hey, this has been a lot of fun. I'm so thankful that you came on the show. I hope that you will come back and see us again real soon and update us on
Please.
how things are going.
Absolutely. I'll be honored. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And everybody, make sure you come back tomorrow. We've got a great show where it's a women's week here on Standing Out. Pretty much we got 3 out of 5 guests that are ladies. And so we got Ellen Voya tomorrow from Women in Trucking. Are you going to be going to the Women in Trucking Accelerate Conference up in Wisconsin by chance?
I do plan on attending.
Excellent. That is awesome. It's
Will
going to
you
be a
be
great
there?
event. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year. I really want to MC, but I'm not a woman, so they might not let me. But I'd love to support that, of course, especially with two daughters. I want to make sure I support that, make sure my kids have
Yeah.
opportunities when they get older as well. So that's cool. But yeah, so Ellen's going to be on tomorrow. Very excited about her being the guest, and so it'll be a great time. So make sure you guys come back in the comments. Thanks for being a part of the show, Lisa. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. Melanie, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Till the next time.